First discovery in 1959, there was a man named Juan Armenta Camacho. He was an amateur archaeologist, and he found this, I believe it's a hip bone of some extinct Ice Age animal, maybe a camel, North American camel. And they had these clear depictions of a hunting scene carved on this, and it was carved on something called green bone, which meant that it was carved soon after death. They knew it was carved soon after death, and it was fossilized. Some people say, well, things can fossilize quicker. The science I'm familiar with is fossilization takes about 10,000 years. So this was super old. That was kind of a no-no because, at the time, humans had only been in the Americas for 12,000 years. This is back in the late 50s. And it's discovered on this little reservoir out here near Puebla, Mexico, and you can see these volcanoes here. That's Popo. I can't pronounce the full Nahuatl word on it, but they call it Popo. And that's important because you're going to see this here. There was a lady named Dr. Cynthia Irwin-Williams, really good archaeologist, that was assigned by Dr. Hannah Marie Wormington, and went down there with the Smithsonian, US Geological Survey. Pretty big excavation because everyone accepted that hip bone was quite the anomaly. And I also just want to preface this: the hip bone is not what we think is 250,000 years. That's what led to further excavation that you're going to find out about. A lot of people get confused with that. That hip bone's probably not 250,000 years old. But she starts finding artifacts in layers of dirt that's underneath the Hueyatlaco ash here. I showed you that picture of Popo earlier. So ash is great because you can date that. So you had artifacts found in bed C and E and bed I, completely distinct beds. Little spoiler, I'm going to try to set this up correctly here. Bed I, no one debated that bed I was clearly under the Hueyatlaco ash. Bed C and E, there's a debate there on whether they were. So we're going to talk about both those. There's several things that are compartmentalized here. It's going to get a little technical, and as a result, I'm going to play with your guys' permission, I'm going to play a 5-minute video from one of my YouTubes of a debate between these two archaeologists about this topic here in just a moment. So they find these artifacts, and that's great. Let's test the ash. Well, there's a guy named Hal Malday. He's passed away since, but he does carbon dating, which is not, at the time, it was the best they had. It's not the most accurate dating method. Some of the ones you're going to find out about are a lot more accurate. But he gets 22,000 years, and this is a big no-no. Humans haven't been in the Americas for 22,000 years. They put their jackets on and they walked across the ice-free corridor and they got to the Americas 12,000 years ago, right? That's what they thought at the time. So this challenged Clovis First dogma, and immediately becomes these baseless accusations by really the Mexican government of artifact planting. And I'm going to play this here and see if they got my audio.
Men with pistols.
Oh no. Let's see here.
We're starting to hear it.
You hear it?
Try to scare the workers at the field. And they were about...
Are we hooked up to is it possible to get my computer? What's that? I know, right? We can do that. All right. So, let's see here. One moment, folks. So, I think it's just the audio from my laptop right now. Maybe the mic can pick it up.
We'll try.
Oh, yeah. Cody's here to rescue. What do you guys think about this?
60 workers. But 3 of them accepted that the fossils were planted. And only these 3 people who signed a paper and saying, yes, we planted, and the scientists planted the fossils. The other 50 and more workers never accepted. They were very honest.
This goes back to the logistics of planting. These sites were all very hard sediments. They were not dirt like you usually see archaeologists digging in your science films. This was almost like paleontology or geology in the sense that the material, if it wasn't rock, it was almost rock. They had to use picks and chisels rather than the trowel, which is the standard archaeological tool. Consider a sidewalk, and you're trying to tell an archaeologist, or you're trying to convince an archaeologist that something in that sidewalk has been planted. This means you got to break open that sidewalk and try and cover it up. and so that the archaeologist believes that what they're coming upon is something that hasn't seen the light of day for as long as it's been buried. Having worked down there last year and experienced the density and the hardness of the sediments, both the Mexican archaeologists and myself agreed there's just no way you can plant artifacts in this material and hope to get away with it.
A couple more I'm going to do like that.